Alright, on this episode of Canine Diggers, we're going to review some of the equipment that I use. Currently, I am using the Garrett AT Pro metal detector. We'll talk about that detector specifically compared to what I started with, and what I started with was the Garrett Ace 400. I still have it. I love it. Occasionally I break it out. I have found a lot of great finds with it. It's a great starter detector. But when you move up the line to the Pro and eventually, hopefully, the Max for me, there is some certain advantages to the more expensive piece of equipment. Frank has recently switched over to the Equinox 800, which he's in the process of learning. I'll be honest with you, he's outdone me. He's got 2 silvers this year. I've got 0, but the Pro is a silver killer. So it's just a matter of time. But we're going to go over some of the coils. I'm going to show you how to use the machine, settings that I use so that when I'm out there in certain trashy areas that I have a bit of an advantage to be able to get in between the trash and dig some good targets. So here it comes. Alright, begin the demonstration. This is the Garrett AT Pro. Go to mode, to your on-off button, turn it on, and you pull it out from the factory. That's a factory set right there. That's what it looks like. Now obviously we're inside a building, we may pick up some nails and stuff on the floors, and we'll show you this, but disregard that. So you come up with standard coins. To change that, I'm going to go again down to mode and just tap. Standard 0, Pro Custom, Pro Coins, Pro 0. 99% of the time I'm digging anywhere, I'm using Pro 0. We start off where we're ground balancing. This will pick up your subtleties in the mineralization of the ground. Try to kind of balance, give you a little bit of a better signal. But it bounces up and down. Now we're ground balanced. So we're going to go in and talk a little bit about the sounds we're hearing, what maybe a piece of silver sounds like, or a silver coin, copper, some relics that you find, nails, etc. So you start understanding a little bit about what each sound makes. Now your lower sound is generally your iron that you're hearing. It's picking up an iron thing. But we'll give you a demonstration of both the Garrett AT Pro and the Ace 400 and a comparison of sounds. I prefer the sounds that come out of the Pro much better. They're crisper. Alright, right now we have 5 coins laid out. Far left is going to be a quarter, a nickel, a dime, and on either end is 2 pennies. You have to look a little closer there. The penny to your right is a memorial. One to the left is a shield. One is more copper than the other, so there's different sounds to it. Dog? There. Go down. This is the problem you have sometimes when you're out here with the dogs. I guess we are canine diggers. It's part of what's supposed to be. But anyway, I'll give you the sounds that the Pro makes with each of these. So when you're listening and looking at your screen, you have an idea of what you're doing. Derringer. There. Go. Get your toy. She put it right on the first thing I was about to do. Anyway, here we go. Alright. So if we're looking at our machine, 81, 82 all day long. Nice and clear. That's a modern day penny. Sorry, not so modern. That's the older of the modern day pennies. Now look at the difference in that one. Look at a 70, 77, 76, all the way up to an 80. Totally different. Nothing in the 70s for the one on the right. We'll go over our dime. 82, 83, 84, sometimes a little higher. So, do we say, all right, is it the higher it gets that we got a larger, better coin? Sometimes, but not always. The nickel, now here's funny. Look at the difference. So low. 50, 51, 53, 52. So, generally your 50s are going to be your nickels, but they're also going to be foil, trash, pull tabs, which are far more prevalent. And then we go down to the silver quarter, 87, 89. Can you see that all right? The sun's kind of hitting you all the way up to a 90, 89, 90. So that's some of the tones you're going to be hearing. Now in between that, you see if I move it a lot, there's a lot of nails in this floor. It sounds kind of goofy, but that you hear the chirp in the background. And then you can move just a little bit. Look at that. We're right on it. Okay, that's going to be my hold. Alright. On to the Pro. Or on to the Garrett Ace 400. Alright, we're going to talk about next is our Garrett Ace 400. One that I started out with. Things that are lacking on this machine is there's no ability to ground balance. So it tends to be a lot noisier in the trashy areas. Now we're inside a house. It's likely to get trashy sounding because we have nails in the floor and staples in the carpet and everything else. But I have lined up a quarter, a dime, a nickel, and a penny. I'm going to let you listen to what these sound like. I'll do one after the other, and then I'll put a side-by-side comparison of the different sounds of the Pro versus the Ace 400. Now again, I love this machine. I'm not bad-mouthing it. But it gets better with the Pro, but I still like using this. Alright, so we'll start out with the quarter. We'll turn the machine on. Alright, again, I can't ground balance it. You can hear how noisy it is. We'll start out with the quarter. You can clearly see the 98, 91, 96. But hear all the other grumbling in. Switch over to the dime. You can barely pick up that dime. And right over top of it. The nickel, no, the nickel sounds a lot clearer. Still hear all the crash. And then the penny. Doesn't that sound terrible? Alright, let's do a side-by-side comparison one after the other. First is going to be the Garrett Ace 400 on the quarter. This is going to be the Garrett Pro on the quarter. It's 400 on the nickel. A little better sounding than the dime. But remember, nickels should be ringing up in the 50s, not in the 30s. So we hear it, but we don't necessarily see the numbers of what we should be seeing. On the nickel. And you see it, we'll mark whenever you see it. You see the 52, 53. Same mid-tone sound we were hearing with the 400, but now I'm actually seeing the numbers to clarify it. There's a number of coils you can get for the AT Pro. The ones that I use, there's 3. This is your standard stock coil that comes with the machine. Works well, covers probably 6 to maybe 8 inches of depth depending on your mineralization and how soft and hard the ground is. It's a little big for trashy areas the way I look at it, because especially when you're dealing with multiple targets in a small area, to pick out a piece of silver amongst or a coin out of a whole bunch of pop-top lids and bottle caps and iron that is in the ground, it's kind of hard to narrow in exactly where's that spot. I tend to dig much bigger holes with this coil because I'm trying to cover the whole area, and I'm still sometimes out of the box. So I like this. It's the first go-to. I go to a field, I go to a house, I go somewhere new. This is the first thing I use until I see what I'm dealing with. The other coil that we have and use, and it's great when you're new to a site and going into maybe a large field. This is the Nel Thunder. Nel Thunder covers a bigger area. It'll get deep. It'll pick up your big iron targets. You know, maybe if you're walking through and you're like, okay, there was a house somewhere out in this 5-acre plot in the 1700s. How can I narrow it down? What are the tools we can use to narrow it down? Is finding those iron targets. You know, finding the big pieces of iron that are left from the pots and the stoves and whatnot. You can narrow it down pretty quickly if you're in the wrong area, if all you're digging is plow tips and tractor parts. But you can find things pretty quickly. It's great for that. So I hit a farm field for the first time that I'm totally unfamiliar. I'm not going to go to the smaller coils. I'm going to start out with the big ones so I can figure out what I have. And the one I use a lot, especially digging around parks and houses, is this one. It's the Nell Snake. It's tiny. It allows you to put a very precise search field in the ground. Now, the one thing you have to be careful of with, is how fast or slow am I swinging my snake. So if I swing it just a nice, easy movement, occasionally you hear that chirping between all the grunts and groans, and you can get wiggling it very tight to a very precise spot of where you're digging. And 9 times out of 10, when I dig a hole with this, it's considerably smaller, and the target's dead center because I'm able to pinpoint it a little bit better. I like the Snake. I think it's a great investment. Stock comes with it. I probably use the Nell Thunder the least, but lately we've had a lot more of going into old house sites that we're familiar, or that we know are house sites, as opposed to bigger fields. But the bigger fields are out there. There's plenty of them. So, all right. Okay, a quick wrap up. Whether you're using the Pro or using the Ace 400, both Garrett products, understand there are differences between the two. Both excellent machines. Both knock it dead. There's days I've gone out with Frank where he's using the Max and I'm using the Ace 400, and I've crushed him. So who knows why? But with each machine, there's a learning curve. So just so you know, when you start out new, if you're new to this, quick setup procedure. Again, I'm using the Z-Link technology, which I can connect this box to the machine, plug it in, turn it on, and now I have wireless headphones where I can hear even better, remember? So you don't have that with the Ace 400. It's all your audible sound interfered with everything else out there. It's a harder machine to use, but it's excellent. Don't get me wrong. The other technology that I use with this, and I think, every single detector should have one, pinpointer. I use the Garrett Carrot. That works. You get near it, it's going to tell you that you're getting close. Invaluable tool. Don't buy the Chinese knockoffs. They're junk. All right, you get what you pay for. Now these I think run typically around $130, somewhere close to that anyway. My first one I used for a while, it was defective. Sent it back. Garrett replaced it. Okay, it's been working great ever since. And these things take a beating. So hang in there, practice with your machines, learn your machines, don't get frustrated when you go out, especially if you're new to either one of these and you go out with one and you're like, I don't understand. Listen for the sounds, listen for repeatable sounds in between all the junk. All right, you'll find good targets. All right, with that, K9 Digger signing off.